The Chandler-Gilbert women's soccer team is riding sky high. Tonight, they look to run their unbeaten streak to 4 as they host Glendale Community College. The action live from the East Valley in Arizona off the 202. Off Pecos Road, right here on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Pequeno alongside Bryce Johnson. And Bryce, you weren't here, but last outing, the ladies put on a show with a 6-0 victory over Paradise Valley, getting goals from Aaron Holt, Allie Davis, Cheyenne Castillo, Megan Castle, Juanita Morales scored a pair. And between the pipes, Samantha Haug picked up her second consecutive shutout. As a team, at just the right time, playing some good soccer, running an unbeaten streak at 3.
Yeah, you know, again, this is the time of the season when you want to start to put all the things together, right? Early on in the year, maybe if things don't bounce your way, you never like it, but you can maybe get past it knowing that you're working to something a little bit bigger, a little bit greater down the road. This is that thing, greater down the road. The last couple games of the regular season get you tuned up and firing all cylinders going into the conference tournament.
Tonight, the squad feels the urgency pushing for a playoff spot. They are 3-6-1. 3-5-1 in league and ready to face the Gauchos. Glendale enters 5-8 overall, 3-7 in league. They are coming off a 5-0 loss to second-ranked Phoenix College. They are led by head coach Marcelo Pina and Glendale. As we take a moment for the announcements and the national anthem, and then we'll get right back at it.
First, we'll have the starters for Glendale Community College, then the starters for Chandler-Gilbert, and then Atlanta.
And while we're going through the starters, we got some time to talk. Scott Smith's team is ahead of the Gauchos in the standings, so this one is big. Through 10 games, Coyotes have scored 23 goals, shot percentage of .217, average 10 shots, and have allowed 3 goals per game. If we look at the numbers for the Coyotes a little bit, Allie Davis and Juanita Morales tied with 5 goals apiece, and of course Cheyenne Castillo's got 4. Samantha Haug has increased her record at 3-3-1. Save percentage on its way up and has 56 saves and has allowed 23 goals. Starting lineup for the Coyotes: number 9, Aaron Holt, defender, sophomore at Ben Franklin. Number 13, Jessica Varney, a defender, freshman at ALA QC. Number 15, Cadence Turner, defender, freshman from Castile High. Number 16, Ashley Farr, defender from freshman that is, of Mountain Crest. 77, Faith Reyna, midfielder, freshman at Castile. Number 4, Allie Davis, forward, freshman. So a lot of freshmen on this team, Bryce. Number 10, Cheyenne Castillo, freshman forward from Eastmark. Number 6, Megan Castle, freshman forward from Higley. Number 8, Cranus, defender, freshman, ALA Gilbert North. Number 14, Gemma Larson, freshman midfielder from Red Mountain. And of course, Samantha Haug, number 88, a freshman goalkeeper. So when you got that many freshmen, it bodes well for next year and ending this strong.
No, absolutely. And again, you know, we alluded to it a little earlier, right? Some of that, those building blocks, those pieces coming together, you know, at the right times. And again, when you have so many freshmen in the lineup and you play so many tough games like, you know, this ACC schedule does, where you're playing, you know, top 5 teams in the nation every other night, right? Sometimes you need 1 or 2 you know, wins under your belt, even if there may be moral victories in certain scenarios, certain things to bounce your way before your team, you know, again, a young team, freshman team, can kind of realize, hey, we can do this. We have what it takes. You know, the tools are all there. It's just a matter of putting them all together in the right places at the right times. So, again, you mentioned three games unbeaten and hopefully making it 4 tonight.
Yeah, and of course, along the way, talking about perseverance. This is a team that's battled so many injuries. It's been a mash unit in and out. And then Samantha Haug, between the pipes, you know, she suffered a fracture in the draw against Yavapai, but she was out there the next match against Gateway and pitched a shutout, and she's been on the field ever since. And talk about a kid who's just showing toughness, and that bodes well for the rest of the team because they're thriving off their goalkeeper between the pipes, showing that kind of resiliency.
Oh, absolutely. You love grit, you know, and you love determination. You know, I used to train goalkeepers for years, and I would always tell people, hey, you know, parents that were asked me, hey, do you want your kid to be a goalkeeper. My kid wants to be a goalkeeper. I said, parent, be honest with me. Is there something a little off? And if the parent looked at me, smiled, and said, yes, I knew we had a goalkeeper, right? Because there's a certain level of just lack of fear and disregard for one's own well-being sometimes that you have to have when you're back there to say, hey, I'm putting my body on the line to get in front of whatever the heck it is this attacker's going to throw at me. And again, we've seen that from multiple players of this Chandler-Gilbert squad throughout the year, but it starts in net and, again, has kind of permeated, like you said, throughout the team.
And now we'll take a quick moment for the national anthem. Time to talk about Glendale. They won 2 of their last 3 with wins over South Mountain 5-0 and PV 7-1 before losing to second-ranked Phoenix College 5-0. Goalkeeper Kaylin Randazzo. She's the only one on the roster, Bryce. So if something happens to Kaylin, they're going to have to make some magical moves. She gave up 5 goals on 18 shots in the loss to Phoenix College. Glendale has scored 27 goals. They average 2 a game with a .375 shot percentage with almost 6 shots per game and have given up close to 3 a game. Starting lineup for Glendale, of course, we just talked about Kaylin Randazzo. She's between the pipes, a freshman, number 1. Number 3, Casey Mears, a sophomore. Number 4, Jordan Matthews, a sophomore forward. Number 5, Edith Delgado, a freshman. Number 10, Brisa Franco, a sophomore midfielder. Number 12, Ariana Chavez, a freshman midfielder. Number 15, Kayla James, a freshman defender. Number 16, Sam Zueta, sophomore mid. Number 18, Lizeth Tresvina, sophomore defender. And number 23, Clarissa Zapita, sophomore defender. And number 25, Sarah Gonzalez, a freshman defender from Dysart in the West Valley. Statistical leaders, let me say that 5 times fast.
I believe in you.
Yeah. Brisa Franco with 5 goals. Edith Delgado with 5. Kayla James with 3. And, of course, it all starts with Kaylin Randazzo between the pipes. She has 97 saves, has allowed 35 goals, so they're going to live and die with that young lady between the pipes, so it's on her shoulders. Head coach is Marcelo Pena, associate that is, Carlos Padilla, as well as Luis Martinez, Robert Lopez, Adam Zamanowicz, the assistant coach and recruiting coordinator, and Daisy Ballesteros. These squads were supposed to meet in September. It was canceled, so here we are. Last time they met was last year with the Coyotes pitching the 6-0 shutout behind goaltender Tatum Lally and Melissa Galise's 3 goals. And here we are. So what's it like, Bryce, at this point in the season when both teams are they're battling for playoffs and they're battling for playoff position? So right now, what can we expect between 2 teams that need wins?
Oh, absolutely. There's a level of desperation and a level of, the playoffs are today, essentially, right? There's two games left in the regular season. There's not really any time for hey, oops, but we'll get them next time. This is the next time. This is one of only 2, like we said, games remaining, so this is the last time. And it's about coming out and gaining momentum early and not allowing any lackadaisical challenges to put a half-scoring chance in front of your goal 20 seconds in, like we just saw.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a good cross, and Glendale just could not connect. And that's, you like to think right off the bat, wake-up call, the game starts. And it's as soon as that whistle blows, you're on the field, and that whistle blows, you're ready to go. So an early dodge of the bullet by Chandler-Gilbert. And, you know, for the team, and you weren't here the other day, and when they got the 6-0 victory, you felt the fruits of the awards for all the hard work. And talking about their gateway win, which kind of propelled their first win after the draw against Yavapai, they felt that, you know, because it had been a while since they scored a goal, but they finally got one in the first half. They kind of breathed it in, breathed it out, and
absolutely,
and realized, look, we can do this. And then offensively, they came out, looked really strong. They took care of a Paradise Valley team that was undermanned because of some injuries and some personnel that left right before the season, which left Coach DeVries in a very difficult situation. But his team persevered. They battled through like they have all year with only 11 players. Hats off to the Pumas for doing that. But
absolutely,
Scott Smith and his team, they came out and they did what they had to do. They took care of it fast, and they secured that victory early on. And now
absolutely.
here they are against Glendale, a team that, you know, comes in, you know, in the middle of the pack of the conference, that they are ahead of in the standings, and a game that, you know, pretty much is a must-win for both sides for playoff positioning.
No, absolutely. And, you know, again, gaining the tone early, you know, finding your way into the game as a player, I think is so huge in matches like this, because like you said, the side that wins this match is probably going to be the one that you know, has the season at least elongated and moved into a conference tournament and go a little further than obviously the other. So I'm intrigued here to see which big players from both sides step up and demand the ball a little bit, demand to take control of the game, as we see Cheyenne lacking the finishing touch that she'd expect of herself. We've seen her actually late after the girls' practices are over for the last week and a half working on her finishing in her spare time. Probably wanted a little more from herself there, but to the point I was making, right? Players that are your top dogs, if you will, stepping up and trying to gain some traction in the match early and try to take control of the momentum.
And we kind of talk about that, and we saw that in the last match against Paradise Valley. Early on, Chandler-Gilbert got a lot of shot-offs and could not score. So finally, Erin Holt came from the back end and just took charge, and she got the scoring going. And Erin's been so good at that center back position, and you name it, she's had to wear multiple hats this year, whether it be playing goaltender or center back, or in that case, be an offensive leader. And she took charge. And you talk about this point in the season, you need people and you need your gamers to show up, and she did that. So now in this one, we'll see who takes that early mantle for this team and gets them going in the right direction, as we're only 3 minutes plus into this one.
Yeah, I look for which team, again, in a game like this, is going to have their midfield take a little bit of control of the game, and in moments where maybe it's frantic, step on the ball, take the sting out of it, and possess it, as we saw an attempt to do so there that resulted in a turnover. A little lack of sharpness early. Both teams maybe feeling a little bit of the weight of this one so far. It's been a sloppy 4 minutes to start from both sides.
Yeah, and right now, a lot of space given up, and Samantha's right there with the shot. And, you know, if you're Scott and he's watching this and you don't like the amount of space given up, giving some good free looks, and even though she was probably about, you know, 25, 30 yards out, still, that ball's kicked. You never know what can happen. And, Bryce, what did you see on that last play?
No, again, you said it's a lot of space given. Looking at the way both teams are lined up, it looks to be, in my eyes, a pretty standard 4-3-3 type position that Chandler-Gilbert has put themselves into to start the match. Glendale looking like maybe in a 3-5-2. So it'll be interesting to see what pockets of space do open up throughout the match, and what, you know, different kind of cat and mouse games or chess games are played, moving bodies around here.
So here we are. 5 minutes has passed as both teams, for Chandler-Gilbert, of course, trying to run that unbeaten streak to 4, riding a good wave, getting some players healthy, and of course along the way, you know, they've had to deal with their share of injuries. Taylor Brown is nursing a lower body injury. She's not playing tonight. Jocelyn Hansbrough is out with suffering the effects of concussion suffered early in the season, as well as Leah Aguilar-Alvarez nursing an injury. She's been out for a while as well. So as the Coyotes try to push toward a playoff berth, they're going with what they got, and along the way, you know, they've persevered through the tough part of their schedule, and I think Scott kind of talked about that. He said, look, we've learned at this point. There's no, okay, it's time to learn. That time's over. And Bryce, look, at this point in the season, the freshman label no longer applies.
Yeah, no, there's enough experience now. You've seen it, you've done it, you've gone through the gauntlet, like we mentioned, to some of the toughest, play that they've had to face in the conference, and it'll be interesting again to see how they put all the pieces together. You look at the bench for Glendale here to our right, and there's 4 able-bodied players in red shirts on the bench there as well. So, this could be a bit of a war of attrition tonight, as far as both teams being a little bit thin as far as the reserves go. But again, it's the time of year where you lay it all on the line and hope you take control of enough of the game for it to go your way.
So give me your thoughts. We see Aaron and Jessica Varney, as well as Ashley Farr, that attacking back row for Chandler-Gilbert, as we see Allie Davis shoot it over from the left side, and Cheyenne controls and with a defender to beat and gets it taken away. But a good sequence right there as Allie tried to feed the box, and that one is shot from the left side. So a good sequence for the Coyotes, putting some pressure. But we're seeing the attacking back row at midfield, and that was so paramount, as I mentioned, about Aaron getting them on the board against PV. So when you see that and knowing the skill set of these players, what kind of advantage does that give the Coyotes in what they're trying to accomplish early?
Well, yeah, when you've got players in your back four that have the ability to get forward a little bit, it just pushes a little bit more pressure on that next line of the opposing team. So, for example, Glendale tonight with their midfield, again, if you have players, whether it's your wing backs, whether it's your center backs, that can step up and create numerical advantages through the middle, it forces just one more layer of players to push back and then disallows an attack. I mentioned kind of some interesting thoughts around what we're looking to see formation-wise from Glendale. It does look like they're going to be in a 3-5-2. So there's a 4-2 numbers up situation in the back. However, both center backs are going to be forced to mark unless they pinch their outside backs in, as we saw there. And again, creating a little bit of an issue until they kind of sort that out defensively, which they did. But again, whenever you can press from your back four and you can move more bodies forward and force the attacking lines to defend, you just move them much further away from goal, and again, hopefully create enough pressure to make mistakes and then eventually capitalize on those and put the ball in the net.
Glendale's Jordan Matthews with a good crossing pass that was knocked away by Cadence Turner, which sets up a throw-in situation for Glendale, and that'll be Sarah Gonzalez working the ball from the sidelines. No score. We are in the 9th minute of the first half. Of course, Chandler-Gilbert feeling really good about themselves. A draw against Yavapai, 0-0 I should say. A 3-0 victory over Gateway, a 6-0 win over Paradise Valley, and now here they are taking on Glendale. That's won 2 of its last 3, and coming off a loss against Phoenix College. And this one launched down the field. Allie Davis, one defender to beat, drops it back down, and that's one is taken away by Glendale. So good work as the Pooch set up Allie for a split second. Looked like she might have an opportunity to set up Cheyenne, but Glendale got back, and their center back did a nice job of recovering on the play.
I'd like to see her be a little more selfish there. Drive at that defender after Allie won the ball. Get forward, drive, force the defender to come with you, and then maybe look to lay it off. I love when strikers like to try to combine with their teammates, right? There's kind of the MO sometimes at strikers, right? They're goal hungry, maybe a little selfish. They want to have it for themselves. That was one of those instances where maybe Allie went a little too far away from the stereotype and tried to get her teammate involved, when in all reality she should have just kind of gone at the defender and seen what happened. And again, maybe even worst case scenario, she drives forward, creates some more space, and then looks to lay off a pass to Cheyenne there, as they were definitely 2v1 there in the middle of the field and had an advantage.
So Aaron feeding Samantha. Samantha works it up that left side, and coming up is Ashley Farr. Now Glendale takes control. No score here. Shots very limited on both sides. Gauchos looking for a road victory after facing a very tough Phoenix College team, and Chandler-Gilbert looking to continue its hot play. And Allie Davis with an opportunity coming up that left side. And here's Allie, and knocks it across, and that is gobbled up by Kaylin Randazzo.
Yeah, great effort there. Again, that play started in the central attacking midfield with Faith winning a ball in midfield. We've seen her play with the injuries a lot at outside back throughout the middle part of this season. Having her further up the field, allowing her to press and win balls in a little bit more dangerous areas is something that you will want to keep an eye on the remainder of the match, because here in the first 10 minutes, that's the second time she's won a ball further up the field and looked to spring the attack again. Allie being a little bit unselfish there, looking for a cross. You know, she's not a left-footed player there. She's on her weaker foot. Maybe that's where, if you're in space 1v1 like that, you'd like to see her, you know, feel the license to go ahead and cut back, try and work the defender and create a shot for herself there.
So it's going to be a foul on Ashley Farr as the ball goes back to the way, getting back to Faith. And Faith is, you know, she is playing on sheer guts. She's been nursing a little bit of a back injury, and I've talked to her about it. She's like, you know what, it is what it is. Going to just fight through it. And that shows some mental toughness by a player at this point of the season who understands the stakes of her team and the needs outweighs the needs of the few or the one, and she's out there sacrificing for her squad. And as we wind down, under 33 minutes left in this one, still a scoreless match, and about to check in and get some work. Leah Aguilar-Alvarez stepping in. Leah getting some work in. Good to see her back, and she's been nursing a little bit of an injury as well, but she is getting healthy as Corinne Noose is about to check out. And latter portion of the season, Coyotes are getting healthy, and I talked to Scott about, you know, what's it been like for you this year when, you know, the potential just hasn't been able to manifest itself with all the injuries. And he says, look, it's been frustrating, but what can you do? You play on, and here we are now, and we've got a chance to control our destiny and get in the playoffs, and that's what it's all about. Give yourself a chance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, these players, you know, again, whenever you have that situation as a coach, all you can do really is instill confidence in the players that you've got and put them in the best opportunities that you can for them to be successful, both for the team as a whole, obviously, but them individually, right? And, you know, you've seen Scott and his coaching staff really, you know, juggle the lines a bit and put players in again, different spots than maybe where they would, but ultimately, you have to just kind of weather it as a group and think, hey, you know, maybe not where we would have wanted to be, but where we want to be and where we are. You know, if they're different, that doesn't matter because we are where we are no matter what. And wanting it to have been different, it doesn't change anything. So, to your point, controlling your own destiny, you know, just comes down to your play on the field. And again, ultimately, as we see a nice little spell of 3, 4, 5 passes strung together here, you know, it's taking control of the ball and the game by putting the opponent's back line under pressure. So good, again, after a shaky and as we said earlier, maybe rough or sloppy first, you know, 3-4 minutes of the game, it does look like the Lady Coyotes have kind of settled into this one, starting to get on the ball a little bit more and value that possession and keep it and create a little bit more opportunities out of it. So
Jessica
good to see.
Varney on the throw-in, and Cheyenne rips it across, and that will give the Gauchos a chance to reset. Both teams in the feel-out stage of this one.
And we mentioned Faith in midfield and kind of some of the things we were seeing from her so far to start the substitution that was made there just a minute ago. It looks like Faith's dropping a little bit deeper into central midfield, more of a holding role. Again, she's, you know, your feisty, tenacious type player. So hopefully, again, able to anchor in front of the back four and control some of that space and allow maybe the rest of the midfield players to get involved in the attack and create some numbers up as we see here.
Point blank on the cross by Megan Castle, which was a great one. And then the goaltender, Randazzo, comes out of the box and shows some guts and heart right there. taking it in, but Megan Castle giving the team an opportunity with the great cross.
Oh yeah, Allie Davis a little unlucky there. She came flying in with the right peg. It just eluded her and ended up hitting her in the back foot on the left leg there. And you know, on a different day, that could have popped its way right into the net.
Now it's the Gauchos trying to make some noise, and Aaron Holt will knock it away. But the team, after talking to them after the win over PV, they were loose. They felt so good about just taking a game and just really strangleholding it from the very start. 4 goals in the first half, 2 in the second. Everyone played, and they got multiple contributions, and it was you could feel their satisfaction for all the struggles and the injuries to get that one. And now it's all about Glendale, and maybe I feel this one kind of playing out like PV. They've had some opportunities early, couldn't capitalize, but eventually it just kind of all flowed together.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, we talked earlier about, you know, sometimes it's hard to still just swallow the moral victories, right, and not have the result that you want of getting a real victory, right? And again, you mentioned to be in control the whole time, you know, in that match against PV, right? That's a little bit of a relief. And again, the Lady Coyotes have been in control of this match, I'd say, probably for the last 12 or so minutes. It'll be nice to see them, you know, again, if they can get one and then keep the pressure on, to watch it really, you know, really start to turn, as Allie Davis has another one just wide. And you can hear potentially Coach Brett Meskel there. Don't settle for the shot, but to just go at the defender and dribble at her. That's probably the second or third time we've seen Allie maybe had an opportunity to go at somebody and elected for a different option. Again, that shot just wide, but a player of her quality, you know, she has the ability to beat a defender 1v1. Go ahead and make her prove that she can stop you first.
How in that situation, because for the player, you know, she's going nonstop, the adrenaline's running, how important is it to kind of calm the nerves in the point of execution, to realize you can make that one attacking move past the defender to get a good one-on-one look?
Yeah, no, I think, again, sometimes, again, as an attacking player, right, it's either, hey, there's maybe a little of a fatigue factor, or it's a lack of comfortability or confidence in a moment of, hey, this is my time to go, right? Of, hey, I've got somebody isolated 1v1, I'm going to take her on. And so, you know, again, that comes from different kinds of ways. Maybe if you see a defender is off balance, you feel good about it and you know you can go at her, or maybe, you know, the defender's recently made a mistake and you feel that you can have them compound on it. But, or sometimes it's just one of your teammates, you know, patting you on the back and saying, hey, go get her, right? And you know, again, the ball is definitely being targeted to that left side, and again, we'd love to maybe see Allie have a little bit of the confidence. Is, again, maybe that's what's lacking at the moment, is that ball, again, not her best pass, and something we see her usually dump in behind a little bit more accurately there.
Throw in for Glendale as Allie's crossover to Megan Castle flew out of bounds, so Glendale and it's attacking back, and Ashley Farr there trying to win it, and now it's Glendale on the attack. Coming up is Casey Mears. Casey Mears, and good work by Cadence Turner as well as Ashley Farr to take the ball away. And Cadence Turner, Ashley Farr have been stalwarts on this team defensively all year. I mean, they bring the physicality, and with Aaron in the middle, that's an attacking back as Samantha comes up and rips it away from the opposing Glendale offensive player coming in, trying to get an opportunity to knock one in. So, and there's a header right there by Megan Castle. Might have bit her gum a little bit as she comes up and holds her jaw. And Allie Davis beats.
We hear Coach Smith. I think that the official may have gotten that one right. She looked a little offside to me. Allie is really fast, though.
She is.
I can agree with Coach Smith at least on that part. But we look at that last attack by Glendale. I mean, you had a player home free. Good job by the recovering outside back there to delay her, and phenomenal work with the run back and the poke there from behind to win the ball. Again, that's a risky tackle. You're usually going into the book if you don't get that one right coming in from behind. So very big play worth noting, because again, to start this early in the match on a yellow, you've got to watch yourself the rest of the way. So really clean tackle, and probably the most promising Glendale scoring opportunity that they've had so far, broken up by a great defensive play.
And on the other side, on the offside call on Allie Davis, we don't have the luxury of VAR. We have the luxury of the referees making that spot call. So when they make the call, that's what sticks, that's what stays.
Yeah, and you saw him hold his flag down. Cheyenne made that another run towards the ball. She was definitely onside, and I think the AR there waited to see which attacking player was going to make a play for the ball, for giving Cheyenne the opportunity to play it, as she was in the onside position from the jump.
Speaking of our referees, Paul Gallegos is the ref, Nancy Milan, your AR1, and Oscar Johnson, your AR2. Oscar right in front of us in the blue shirt. Oh, they switched up on me. Okay. So let's correct that.
There you
Nancy
go.
Milan is the AR2, and Oscar Johnson is the AR1.
There you go.
And if you're scoring at home, please see a doctor immediately. So we are scoreless.
Well, if
22 minutes in.
You ask a striker that gets called offside, he'll tell you that every single time they're AR none.
Taking up. Aaliyah brought it back. Knocks it to Juanita Morales, who was right in front. Juanita coming off a 2-goal game in the victory over PV. Very nice young lady. We had a good conversation and a little shy on camera. But you know, she was well spoken and really loves playing on this team. Said everyone is so friendly and endearing, and she's enjoying her time and she's playing well. And it's good to see Aaliyah back out there. She's been nursing an injury for the last several matches, and at this point in the season, the more bodies you have that can make a difference, the better.
Oh, absolutely. Even players off the bench that are, maybe your 5 minute, 10 minute a half type player. I mean, that goes a long way. We talked about at the Yavapai match, right? Every time you have a player maybe playing somewhere else in a different position or somewhere that there's not maybe their primary, right? There's little percentage points, if you will, down from an ability level standpoint that happens. And every little player again, there's no little player, but every player, even though maybe sometimes minutes are limited, ultimately makes a big difference in the greater picture of what you can do as a team. So it's always nice to get, fresh sets of legs ready every match.
And Megan Castle off the feed from Juanita Morales with a good look. Just punches it over the crossbar, and
looks like she got caught in between two thoughts there. Hey, should I have a go at goal? Should I whip this one across for one of the two white shirts in the box? And kind of ended up playing a ball in between, high but somewhat goalward and over the crossbar.
So a lot of activity in the eyes of goaltender Kaylin Randazzo, who's been very busy watching her defenders in front of her, trying to keep the Coyotes at bay. And on the other side, as this one is whipping up through the left side, coming up is Stephanie Sanchez. Sanchez shot across, and that one is blocked out in front. And another shot. It's going to be a corner, looks like, for Glendale. So we're seeing a little space given up by Chandler-Gilbert, and nothing has hurt them quite yet. But Samantha Sanchez, make that Stephanie Sanchez, was racing up down that left side with a chance to make some noise.
Yeah. So again, we mentioned the formation. Glendale definitely in a 3-5-2 so far right now. And what it looks like they're trying to do is find those two central strikers to their feet, like we see here, and have those two either A, combine, as we saw forward to forward there, or B, get midfielders involved, whether it's those outside middies, as we saw Samantha here on the left wing now getting involved in the attack after the central forwards have it, or again, combining back with their central midfield players. The Coyotes have done a really good job of limiting any kind of space for their attacking midfield players Glendale Gauchos, but the wings or the outside midfielders have been able to get on the ball a couple times. So it'll be something to see whether or not the Coyotes outside backs can again cut off some angles for passes there and force the ball to go backwards whenever Glendale does gain possession.
So the chances have been sporadic for Glendale, and on the other side for Chandler-Gilbert, we've seen Allie Davis with some opportunities. We saw Megan Castle just a short time ago with should I stay or should I go, and knocked one over the crossbar. And for Chandler-Gilbert, they've been knocking on the door. What do they have to do to break it in?
Yeah, no, I think again it's been recognizing the moments of when you go versus maybe when you involve your teammates. We saw Allie Davis a couple times have an opportunity to maybe go at a defender and be a little selfish and go herself, right? We saw, you know, just recently here another play where, you know, the Lady Caddies had broken the line, they were in behind, and we stepped on the ball and looked for another pass, which has been an issue, quite frankly, for them. Maybe looking to not have someone that they can play or you know, finding feet. We saw in the Yavapai match that there weren't too many times where they strung 4, 5, 6 passes together. It was maybe a little bit more limited because that was a very back and forth and more of a gritty fight type match. But something like this where again there's two more level, you could say, opponents here. It's the team that's going to create more chances again picks their times to really just drive when they have 1v1. And then know when the other times are of, hey, okay, let's step on it, let's keep possession, let's maybe move it around. Because the whole point, right, the very beginning definition of how to pass a ball in soccer is to find a teammate in a better position to score. And sometimes passing for the sake of the pass, if you don't have a teammate in a better position to score, isn't always the best bet. Again, especially your talented players and those that are in space on the wings. You know, again, as a coach, I love to tell my wingers, get at the back four, right? Make them make a play.
So shots for Chandler-Gilbert, Cheyenne Castillo, Allie Davis with 3, and Megan Castle just a short time ago. The chances have been there, and for Glendale, they have been few and far apart. Call it one save attempt by Samantha Haug between the pipes, and it was a good clean save right at her. She didn't have to move or anything, and that's good for a young lady who's still battling a little bit of a fracture in her face. You know, a true trooper, needs to say. And she said, look, I'm playing, I want to be out there, and that's it. And the other option was to have Erin Holt, who we saw between the pipes against Yavapai, and Erin will do whatever's necessary for the team. So you got to wonder, we saw Erin get the scoring started against PV. You got to wonder if she'll be up, and she's been very instrumental playing on the attacking back at midfield in most cases. And now Megan's trying to turn the corner, and this one is pooched down that sideline. Jessica Varney in a battle, dumped back down, cross, and that one is knocked up the field by Faith Reyna. Juanita giving chase, punches it to Allie Davis on that left side.
Here's an opportunity. I'd love to see her go at somebody.
And Allie working it up the field. Allie shoots it up that left side, and that is just left of the post.
Again, I like that a lot better, though, right? She's a right-footed player playing on the left wing. You always have the opportunity to cut into your right side, get onto your stronger foot, and have a go. I like that because worst-case scenario, again, your shot goes wide, it's a goal kick. But more importantly, you've put that thought in the defender's head now of, okay, I've seen her get behind me and cross the ball. I've now seen her come across me to take a shot from the middle, right? You put the defenders on their heels and force them to hopefully have enough pressure to make a bigger mistake, you know, as the game continues.
Jessica Varney with the ball pressured down the left side as Erin Holt tries to cut off the angle. Shot across, and that one is just missed on the great crossing, and the kick just went wide of the left post as we track down a number on that great attempt.
No, and again, that's another wake-up call about, you know, 45 seconds into the match was Glendale's best opportunity up until this point where, you know, it's just a brief turn-off, if you will, right, from the back four. They switched players that they were marking and didn't exactly pick up tightly enough. And again, you give somebody in the attacking third too much time and space at this level, usually make you pay. And the cross was perfect. The finish just left a little to be desired.
Casey Mears on the shot. A very strong attempt, and about to check back in is Jordan Matthews from Sandra Day O'Connor. Up to 17. Jordan Matthews, a former Eagle at Sandra Day. Good soccer program. The athletic programs at Sandra Day, top to bottom, they really get it done. Very good in softball as well every year. That squad is among the best in the state. Meanwhile, Glendale making some noise. Aaron Holt giving chase. Aaron giving chase on the ball. Crossing pass. Chandler-Gilbert trying to clear it. Shot is blocked. One more block. And Glendale coming with a ferocious effort right now in the sequence and finally just knocked away. And we kind of talk about space, and we're seeing Glendale penetrate deep, almost being allowed, getting in and working deep into the attacking back, and then Chandler-Gilbert kind of flushing the back, and luckily there were some bodies to put some pressure and get some block shots.
Now, yeah, well done in the middle there, making sure, again, to close down the space there, but we talked about the outside midfield players, you know, taking a little bit of a non-traditional place on the pitch than your 4-3-3 that you normally see, and they're finding little pockets. And again, this is the first real major spell since the first 5 minutes of possession that we've seen them have. Again, we talk about times to go and maybe times to step on it. Again, if we see Chandler-Gilbert win the ball here, I'd like to see them maybe, if they've got the pass on, which we saw there, unsuccessful, maybe step on it, maybe hold some possession, gain your footing back in the game a little bit here before, before the more frantic defensive nature that we've had the last minute and a half.
Faith will pass midfield. We'll try to work it out to Megan Castle and taken away by the right back, knocked up front. Glendale trying to work the ball past midfield. Good attacking pressure by Gemma Larson right on the ball. And this one is going to be pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, that was much better defended there on the switch. The Lady Gauchos found their striker's feet there. The center back and the outside back switched, passed off defensive responsibilities, and they weren't able to then find that outside midi streaking down the wing. The center back shifted over properly, cut off the pass, forced the delay in the decision making, and ultimately converged enough midfield defenders into that area to sniff out the ball and ultimately force an error and regain possession.
So right now Chandler-Gilbert putting some pressure on the attacking back of Glendale with a throw-in chance. Megan Holt coming in. Gemma Larson checking out. Substitutions vital in the later stages of this first half. Both teams trying to find their collective energy in this first half frame, a scoreless first half, and coming up that left side and getting back defensively. Good work.
A little bit of confusion there between the center back and the goalkeeper on whether or not she was going to come out and clear that herself or have her center back come up and clear some duties. I think there was maybe enough time and space there for the goalkeeper to maybe come out and put that away herself rather than forcing her center back to do the duty and give up a throw in. But ultimately the Coyotes were able to deal with the matter with a little bit more ease than it could have been.
So Glendale arguing the call, and Chandler-Gilbert has the throw-in at midfield. Megan Holt gets it out to Allie Davis, and Glendale gets back. So you can feel the sense of urgency. Glendale they were getting dominated early in this match, and now kind of the momentum switch where Glendale is really starting to take control. Coming up that left side, Stephanie Sanchez, Varney on her, dumps it back down, shot across. Samantha Haug, and this one just goes wide. Almost a great crossing pass as Aaron Holt knocks it out. And there was an opportunity right there for Glendale, and the attacking forward just misspread the long cross.
Oh yeah, again, not tightly marked in the box. That's something as a goalkeeper you typically get livid about, and you're yelling at your center backs to organize. But again, just not enough accuracy on the cross. Otherwise, again, could have been another scoring chance.
Jessica Varney takes it up. She's looking for Megan Castle, and that one is knocked out of bounds. So Megan, the young lady from Higley, who last game, and I just put for the record, I mistaken her, depends on what kind of language you want to use, English right now, for Faith Reyna. And Faith was right to my left, and I'm like, look, I have old man eyes. I know the difference between both of you. And she's like, well, we get it all the time.
Hey, well, and at the end of the day, too, when you're staring into the sun like we are, you know, it makes it a little bit more difficult when it's a lot of white jerseys and ponytails.
Absolutely. So true.
And on the men's side of the ball, it's a lot of buzz cuts.
Yeah. Sanchez, Jessica Varney on her. Crossing over. Punch down that right side. And this one is pooched in the air. Doesn't go too far. Glendale. And this one a misfire that Samantha will fall on. And once again, space and Glendale getting opportunities.
Yeah, it's for the second consecutive attack from Glendale, a bit of a, we'll say, lackluster clearance from the back four. Again, second time, when you have an opportunity to clear the ball that comes in from across, it's got to be big. It can't be something that only goes 4 or 5 yards forward. Otherwise, you're just putting yourself back in some pressure.
Allie Davis coming up. Allie with a lot of opportunities first half. Shoots and right into Randazzo. Read it perfectly and was like a center fielder on the easy pop-up and brings it in.
Yeah, again, we've been talking about Allie maybe needing to drive at players and go a little bit more herself. That was maybe the one time where she had a couple of runners in the box where she tried to whip a cross in. There were white shirts open and available in the middle. Maybe because we've been saying it, we need to say it a little quieter. Maybe she heard us.
Yeah.
And in that instance, maybe the better choice was distribution. But again, I love that she's getting back on the ball and in dangerous situations. Eventually, someone of her caliber is going to find a way to either create a goal for herself or for one of her teammates.
Varney and Stephanie Sanchez working that left sideline. And Cheyenne Castillo is about to check in. So Glendale, as we mentioned early in this one, looked like Chandler-Gilbert. Early was taking control. Glendale in the last 5-10 minutes has really turned the tide, kind of dominated play. And the call goes against Glendale, and Chandler-Gilbert back on offense.
Little, well, again, we mentioned the Avapai game. There was a bit more let go. And tonight, I think, again, we talked about it on that broadcast where, you know, some referees call it a little tighter, some let you play. The Avapai match, we saw them let it play. Tonight, it's been a little more, I don't want to say ticky-tack. I think we haven't gone that far, but it's definitely been a lot less contact has been tolerated this evening.
Well, you know, I got to tell you.
As we see a battle in front of us here.
Yeah, in the course of covering some of the men's action, you've seen some stuff. A lot of loose play that the refs have let go. And sometimes you're sitting and then the refs are on it. The center ref is right there, and you're saying, really?
Yeah.
But it's a course of who's calling it and how it's going both ways.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny having you know, coached both men's and women's soccer. It's interesting because some of the things that you can get away with in the men's side of the ball is a lot different than what you can get away with, you know, on the women's side. I'll tell you, I've, you know, coaching 8 years of, you know, high school and collegiate hopeful, you know, women's competitive ball. It was so interesting how much, honestly, more, you know, intentional, you know, bumps and knocks that they're usually able to get away with and move along past. Usually speaking for the boys, it's hey, I don't like you, I'm going to hit you.
Yeah. Yeah, because boys, they take things personal on the field, and then they don't want to be beat. And, you know, if they felt they were dressed down in the previous play, they're going to come right back at it and maybe show a little physicality. That's what, you know, sometimes competitiveness does that, as Juanita battling on that sideline. So in a game like this, Bryce, you know, 0-0, and maybe one call in a game could shape the outcome of this one, and you would hate to think that it would. Hopefully it's decided on the field between these two teams, but how important is it for both sides to keep their cool, because it is 0-0, and you know, the stakes are high for both teams.
Yeah, no, I always talk about as a coach, right? At the end of the day, whenever you're going to be in a tight contest like this, where the score is obviously not going to be big one way or the other, it's hey, in the simplest form, if I have the ball, you can't score, right? And again, not to oversimplify it too much, but at the end of the day, it really can be. So again, I'd like to see the Lady Coyotes, get back into controlling more of the possession, knocking the ball around, finding some feet. Again, Glendale's just looked to counter. That's been really the only genesis of any offense that they've had so far. So relax, keep the ball, value the ball, right, as we like to say. And again, you'll generally see the good things come from that.
And the good thing, even though the Coyotes have not capitalized and maybe the defense hasn't been as sharp, as we see a nice battle between Megan Castle and Sarah Gonzalez right in front of us, and Gonzalez won that matchup, is that so far Chandler-Gilbert has held the Gauchos off the scoreboard, and they are riding in that 3-match unbeaten streak. They've pitched 3 shutouts, so once again the defense holding up to its end.
No, yeah, the back four's been good. Again, as the game wears on, this is just a natural thing you see every match. Games wear on, legs get tired, minds get tired. It's going to be interesting to make sure decision making and ability to get into the proper defensive positioning is made. Again, time and space for attacking players with ability is always a dangerous game, and the more you give of it, the more of an opportunity you have to give something up.
And the beautiful thing about the sun setting is we can actually take our sunglasses off and look on the other side of the field and be able to see without being blinded by Mother Nature. So now we are in a good place as well as we watch Megan Holt in a battle against Kayla James on that left side, and this one pooshed out.
Yeah, my eyes are drier than most riverbeds here in Phoenix, let me tell you. But glad to see the sun go down.
Yeah, for sure. So you're just coming off, you weren't here this past weekend, you were at a wedding. Good time for all, I hope?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My wonderful wife is a wedding photographer, so I got an opportunity to watch her work a little bit, and always fun.
Glendale, and that one is a point-blank look, and luckily it was knocked away. And we talk about sometimes you're seeing a team maybe just watching a little bit too much, and you get the sense as that shot just missed by Edith Delgado. Right now Chandler-Gilbert has to pick up the intensity a little bit. They're kind of like watching instead of playing.
Yeah, you see a couple of subs coming on, hopefully maybe some fresh legs, a little bit of energy. One unit that hasn't had a sub the whole first half so far has been that back four, and quite frankly looked like a couple tired tackles there, but ultimately they got bailed out by their goalkeeper. A great save, and the rebound happened to bounce to a lady in white, and thankfully out and away.
So Chandler-Gilbert lucky they're not trailing in this one after that point-blank look by Edith Delgado missed. They pushed one up as Leah Aguilar giving chase, and Cheyenne coming in, and that one is knocked the other way. Faith Reyna tracking it in. Faith punches it up. Gemma Larson over to Cheyenne. Cheyenne, and good physical work by Sarah Gonzalez. And Sarah Gonzalez, the freshman defender from Dysart, she has really shown some tenaciousness, on-ball defender, and shown physicality and using the body cleanly as well.
Absolutely. It's when you get defenders running at you, as a wing back, that's when things can get a little bit dicey. But she's done a good job of engaging early, like you mentioned, a little contact, a little bit of use of the body. Then you don't have to be as pacey as the striker that you're going up against if you're kind of already leaning into them as the ball's coming to them, right? So really good, smart defending from her so far.
Aaron coming up from the center back, and push one down. This one controlled by the Gauchos and Gemma Larson. And Scott Smith telling his player to close the gap. This one knocked over. Ashley Farr is there to rip it to the left side. Giving chase, Allie Davis coming from the attacking forward position. Knocked down, Cadence Turner giving chase, as well as Ashley Farr. And Glendale right now, just a step ahead, a little quicker right now. And the attacking back is just moving just a tad slow. And luckily, we're winding down to 2 minutes, and the Coyotes can get out because Glendale's really controlled the tempo in the last 20 minutes or so.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's been in bits and chunks. First 5 controlled by the ladies in red, and then a good 20-minute, 25-minute window where the Lady Coyotes had the better of possession, and we've kind of seen that flip. So, you know, good back and forth match so far.
It has been. Chandler-Gilbert controlled the majority of the first 20 minutes plus before the water break, and now it's kind of switched sides as Glendale has really found its legs, and Chandler-Gilbert maybe just a tad bit loose defensively. That right there, and that one is knocked up the field, and Juanita Morales getting out to Allie Davis, racing up that left side. Allie, Cheyenne on that right side, and she tries to work it to Cheyenne. Cheyenne with one defender, and Cheyenne trying to blow by her, giving good pursuit, and we kind of talked about her yet again. Sarah Gonzalez right there, defender, and Sarah Gonzalez, a tough physical defensive player, and Gonzalez takes it away.
No, yeah, really good play again. You mentioned just a lot of pressure, not allowing any space, and locked her down.
Chandler-Gilbert on that back end, as Samantha Haug will rip that up. And when you see a player like Sarah Gonzalez right now, the defender, and she's been everywhere, and she's really shown her mettle, what does that say about the determination of the player, and how much does that help inspire the rest of the team?
No, absolutely. You know, it's really easy to, or feels good to rest easy and know, hey, look, you know, that a certain side of the field is taken care of. We can maybe move our eyes and our attention to another area. She's had a great game so far, but you know, ultimately a lot of rotation and a lot of bodies are going to keep coming that way. It'll be interesting for the remainder of the match in this second 45 if she holds up, but has been tall to the task so far.
Cadence Turner in that corner will just knock it away, and that is how the first half is going to end. It's going to end a scoreless half. Chandler-Gilbert controlled the first 20 minutes or plus. Then it's the Gauchos in the visiting red coming and seeing red in their eyes to own the second part of the first half. So now they get a breather, and we'll take a breather right here. It's the Gauchos and the Coyotes right here on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network. More to come from Chandler-Gilbert off the 202 in Pecos Road.
The second time we played Pima, they looked just stupid.
Yeah.
No, I mean, right now Pima's up to number 2 in the nation nationally, and Phoenix College has dropped down to 4 nationally, and then Mace's at 17. I looked last night. Yeah.
Yeah, they update them every Monday.
Okay.
No, just Pima looked.
No one is going to drive it.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me one bit if they ended up winning the national title. They were that good. Yeah, he's usually pretty cool, man. When we went down at the beginning of the year and played him 5-2, he sent Zach a note after the game. He was like, hey, you guys were all class tonight. You guys worked your butts off. The score was 5-2, but it could have even been different. You guys looked great. Best of luck for the season. He's usually always a classy guy.
As we close in on the second half, looking at the conference Division I rankings, Arizona Western is ranked 9th at 8-1. Division II, Phoenix College is ranked 2nd at 9-1-1. Scottsdale ranked 10th at 9-2-1. Looking at the women's soccer standings, Arizona Western that is, conference record 9-0 in first. Phoenix College 8-1-1. Scottsdale Community College 7-1-1, Eastern Arizona 7-2, Yavapai 6-3-1, Pima 5-2-2, Coyotes 3-4-2, Chandler-Gilbert 3-5-1, Glendale 3-7, Gateway 2-7, Mesa 2-7, South Mountain and PB 0-8-1 apiece. So as we wind down and start talking and start thinking about this second half, and it's been a tale of defenses. And for Chandler-Gilbert, a lot of opportunities in the first frame. Allie Davis with several opportunities, at least 4 good looks in that first half.
Yeah, and a lot of them a little bit more of, you'd say maybe call them half chances, right? Things where, hey, again, she gets 4 or 5 of those looks. You'd maybe expect her to be able to find the net on one. So, by that math, the next one's going in, right? But the best clear-cut chance of the night so far has come from Glendale with a good point-blank save that fortunately had a rebound bounce directly to a center back. So, again, I'd say probably 25 to 30 minutes of possession was controlled by the Coyotes, but late in that first half, maybe some tired legs opened a little bit more of those pockets of space for Glendale to create some attacks, and ultimately, while maybe creating a fewer number of chances, the 2, arguably 3 best overall quality chances of the game have all been for Glendale. So it'll be interesting to see, again, as the second half goes on and tired legs start to happen, maybe 15, 20 minutes into the second frame, which team bends but doesn't break.
So, Bryce, that being said, look, at this point of the season, everyone's tired. If you're Scott, you can talk about execution, formations all day, but right now he has to try to inspire and motivate those hearts and the will and the drive. What's his message for his kids to start the second half?
No, I think again, it's revel in the opportunity when you have it, right? Especially as an attacker, if you have a chance to change the game, don't be shy from it. Don't back down from it. Go after it and take it. If you're talking to your back 4, again, it's limit time, limit space, and again, quite frankly, in a game like this where there will be messy parts, a goal could be maybe, what you call a greasy goal that's more of a mistake. You tell your back 4, hey, when in doubt, up and out, right? Don't take any chances. You don't need to maybe be cute with it when you don't have the opportunity to do so, whether it's time or options for connecting passes. Again, you always want to see your back 4 retain possession, build it out of the back, and work a little bit more coordinated as you get forward. But again, sometimes ugly soccer of big and somewhere, anywhere other than here, sometimes that is okay.
Not allowing a lot of space for Chandler-Gilbert. Key, not allowing Stephanie Sanchez, who you can see her in the bottom of her screen. She's really had a good first half, getting loose on the attacking wide sides. And defensively for Glendale, Sarah Gonzalez has been a load to work with. And for Chandler-Gilbert, Allie Davis, Cheyenne as well. Faith in that midfield position and that attacking back row. to work some opportunities, get the ball up the field, and hopefully it can manifest for Chandler-Gilbert to get on the scoreboard. And this one just underway in the second frame as News coming up left side. Allie Davis, Allie, one defender to beat, crossover.
You hear Coach Scott Smith there telling her exactly what you and I have been saying so far in this first half. You get 1v1 in space there, beat her and go, the instruction from Scott Smith. You know, I obviously agree with the coaches quite frequently, but emphatically there, Coach Smith had his idea, and I like what he's telling his winger there.
So the Coyotes with some short control passing. Allie Davis right in the middle. Allie works it over to Noose. Noose works that right side, trying to feed Juanita Morales. Now coming up is Jessica Varney, and all of a sudden you see the sense of urgency of attacking the ball on both sides that much quicker. And being that we are scoreless, it could be that one play, that defining moment where space and the opportunity, the one player outworking the opposition could be the difference in this one.
Absolutely. And another note here, Varney starting out at left back here for the Coyotes. We saw her deployed on the right side directly in front of us. We get a front row view of her here again in the second half as she's been moved over to the left back. Maybe happenstance, maybe you know, a matchup that they see.
And we kind of talked about that, and I kind of pointed out that Stephanie Sanchez had a really good first half, and I think they're putting Varney, ISOing her on Stephanie Sanchez. More ball pressure from Jessica Varney, who's always relentless in man-to-man defense.
Oh, absolutely. And again, you see her back at work again, and you know, having a different attacker to deal with there. So both sides potentially shifting formation a little bit here at half.
Sanchez gets the throw in from the sidelines, and Varney's right there, body on body. Sanchez tries to get it across, and that is knocked away. It looks like that might have been Cadence Turner who took it off the side of her head, and she's getting up, and as they say, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and Cadence gets up and shrugs it off. But a corner kick opportunity for the Gauchos.
Yeah, set piece is going to be huge in the second half. Neither team really getting a lot of corner kicks or free kicks in attacking areas, but you know, again, early corner kick, hopefully avoiding the danger here as the ball finally squirts free.
And Juanita Morales just tries to punch it up the field, and Allie Davis giving chase, and Allie takes this one away, and Allie racing up that left side. Glendale doing a good job, the attacking back row. She gets it across to Faith Reyna. Faith punches it up right into Kaylin Randazzo.
Well, we've seen Faith play, like we mentioned earlier, across the back line quite a bit this season, and now deployed a little further up the field. Maybe a little bit more calm and composure, you know, needed in the attacking third there. Would love to see her have a touch and get creative.
Allie on that left side. Works it back to Gemma Larson. That one is knocked on the back end. Taking it away is Lizeth Tresvina. Cadence Turner coming up from that attacking back row to provide some help. Varney right on Steffi Sanchez, takes it away. Sanchez has been running loose for the Gauchos. Allie Davis coming around that left side. Allie, punch across. Point blank and over the crossbar. A good look, and
well, we talked about Allie Davis getting after it there again. She received the pass, head up, looked to find something, and then maybe heard Coach Smith from the last time to just go and get after it. Great move there to get to the byline and whip it across.
Allie with a good crossing pass, and Faith just knocked it over the crossbar. And you get the sense of frustration for the Coyotes coaching staff, feeling that they're so close and along the way, just about executing what they've been taught as well.
Yeah, strikers, again, there's a level of composure when you get in front of goal. You know the entire match could be changed by one kick of the ball that you have. You have to just kind of breathe, exhale, head up, find a corner. Sometimes, and that instance was a perfect example of it, where, you know, Faith maybe putting a little bit too much sauce on it, when in reality, 5 yards from goal, it's calm, composed, just a nice little inside of the foot, instep pass to the corner, and you can make a 5-yard pass all day, every day, maybe in the middle of the field, but for whatever reason, when players get in front of the goal sometimes, those simple
Nervous
things
energy.
start to go away. Absolutely.
It's the nervous energy of the moment, and not realizing to take that breath and realizing they have the split second to decide exactly where to place the ball, but instead with the nervous energy to attack. Allie Davis, left side. Allie coming up, racing, shot across, crossing, and that one is in! The cross is good! Allie Davis to Juanita Morales, and the Coyotes are on the scoreboard in the second half. Allie to Juanita, bang, and the Coyotes are howling with the 1-0 lead.
Oh, inch perfect on the cross there from Davis. Again, we've heard the coaching staff talk about it. We've talked about it. Just go at somebody. That time made an excellent, excellent cross. Again, if it's an inch further back, the center back gets a clearance. If it's an inch further forward, it's in the arms of the goalkeeper. We've said this before. Again, get your special players the ball. Give them an opportunity to make a play. Allie Davis just made a play.
And we just heard assistant coach Matt Smith and just the entire coaching staff has been talking about it the whole first time. Allie, keep attacking. Don't stop. Keep moving toward the goal. That time, the beautiful feed, and Juanita. Look, on Juanita's end, give her the props for being in place to receive the ball and knock it home.
Oh, absolutely. Again, Juanita's not a player that's going to win every foot race she's in. That was just the nature of what she does on the field. But what she's always been good at all season long is the technical ability. And again, we talked about the maybe, hey, breathe and just find it. That's exactly what we saw from her there. Great finish, sliding across the face of goal, and again, tapping it in underneath the crossbar there. Excellent finish. That's a true striker's goal there.
Juanita Morales now with a team-high 6th goal of the season. Allie Davis on the great assist. Allie has been knocking on that door throughout the first half, and this time decided to attack, listen to the coaches, and the beautiful feed across, and that was Juanita beating Kaylin Randazzo, the freshman goalkeeper from Lakeside High School, and Coyotes are on the board. And meanwhile, their streaks of shutouts are totally intact. 3 matches in a row. They've yet to give up a goal, and here they are in the second half with a chance to make that stick and increase that to 4.
Yeah, the clipboard's made of wood here. We'll knock on that real quick. Hopefully that remains for the next 38 minutes of this one. And but again, good start to the half. We saw the Coyotes maybe a little lackadaisical early on to begin the match, but jumping all over it here in the second half.
And what was imperative for the Coyotes is the way Glendale came out and putting on that pressure in the opening minutes of that second half. And all of a sudden, when the ball changed fields, it was Davis who won the ball at the midfield and then took it up the field and found Morales. Now on the back end, it's Varney punching across to Aaron Holt and Ashley Farr coming up. And it's Faith coming up from the midfield stripe, and Glendale's right there. Faith tries to punch it out. And Coach Matt Smith saying, applauding the effort. Hey, don't worry about it. Can't have the perfect kick every time. You can't have the perfect saving the ball position every time. It's all about the effort. As long as you play hard, you're going to put yourself and your team in a good place.
Yeah, Cheyenne entering the game for the Coyotes, and Jordan Matthews in for Glendale. Again, we mentioned that there might have been a tactical change at halftime. One thing that I've noticed, the Coyotes moving into more of a sweeper-stopper organization, we'll say, out of the back, right, rather than a typical flat back 4. The adjustment's been noticed here by Glendale. You see Jordan Matthews now, who's come onto the field. She's going to try to stay as high as she can on the last Coyotes attacker and not allow that sweeper to just come in and easily win balls like we just see there. It's like right on cue. It's as if they heard me saying it. But again, so it'll be interesting to see how that, again, we talked about, chess matches in the opening, how that maybe plays out here the last 35.
Little punch up the field. Allie Davis battling for position. And the Gauchos on the back end doing a nice job to take it away. Footwork, effort, and will in that battle right there. And Varney wins that battle against Stephanie Sanchez. And Sanchez trying to come from behind and get the ball back. Allie Davis going after Gauchos on that back end.
And again, that was a phenomenal defensive effort there by Glendale. Allie Davis was Allie Davis was in there, but a phenomenal physical effort.
And the flag right by us now snapped in half, and needs to say it's all ball bearings these days, so they'll be able to replace that in some capacity.
Casualties. I got duct tape in the trunk. We'll be fine.
Scott's like, that's why we can't have nice things. Cheyenne Castillo rips it, and that will go right into the wailing hands of Kalen Randazzo, who will scoop it up. So the Coyotes, and on that previous moment before that sequence took place, Scott Smith was out talking to his attacking back. You don't need to be 40 yards off the ball. I want you at midfield, and providing that effort to control the ball at the midfield stripe.
No, absolutely, because again, Jordan, and it's behind the play here, so it's something you won't be able to see on the camera at the moment. But again, Jordan Matthews staying high on the last Coyotes defender.
Allie on the back end, cross, good opportunity. Faith Reyna, and Faith bangs it home. Allie Davis, Faith Reyna this time, she doesn't miss, and it's a 2-0 Coyotes lead.
A little bit composure, a little bit more time to breathe there. Excellent finish. Again, we talked about it when she had the opportunity earlier. Hey, sometimes you don't have to knock the snot out of it. It's maybe the inside of the foot and an easy pass into the corner, and again, slotted it home. A good, composed finish there from Faith.
And just about 3 minutes ago, assistant coach Matt Smith was looking at Faith Reyna. He said, Faith, just give the effort. Don't worry about it. Put it aside. Just keep playing hard, as he giggles it off right to my left. But he knows that is exactly what it was. Faith was there, and Allie Davis, talk about being the point guard in this one, stepping up, sharing and caring, and finding her teammates like a champ.
No, absolutely. And again, both goals that came from her assist, again, beating the initial defender, getting past this outside back, and when you continue then to drive at the goal, rather than just settling for the space in front of you, you force other defensive players to move and shift a little bit. That's what creates those extra pockets of space in the middle. Again, 2v1 numbers in the middle there on that goal, with both Faith and an additional attacking Coyotes player there, so one of them has to be unmarked, right? But that starts with, when you're a winger and you beat your outside back, drive at the next defender, force that individual to have to commit. You open up space, and again, she delivered a perfect cross into the middle, and Faith slotted it home. And again, great goal.
No, and you mentioned about her just getting past her defender, and Allie this time around, compared to the first half, where she was looking maybe to shoot from 25 yards out, working it up and finding her teammates waiting in a perfect position. Chandler-Gilbert looking to add more. Allie coming up that left side, trying to beat another defender, and now the Gauchos will knock it away. And Scott Smith is looking at the center ref and asking for some help, as the players, the defenders, were not playing the ball, but just keeping their arms out instead.
I think that one was more of a lobbying effort for the next one. I think maybe a little bit soft there. The point is made. The point is made. I think, as now the center referee is barking back a little bit here. Again, he wasn't going to get that one. It would have been, in all fairness, a little soft to give that one. However, maybe the next one, as we see a whistle blow in favor of the Coyotes, is the overall goal of the conversation, we'll call it.
Well, it is, as we're seeing politicians across the country campaign for 2024, and Scott Smith lobbying on his end right there for his team.
Yeah, he's lobbying for calls here in the last 30, which sometimes happens. Gamesmanship. The center referee, though, informing him to be more constructive with his feedback. So
we've got an outside kick, and that looks like on the other end of the field as I break out. That's a Megan Castle on the boot, giving chase. Crenus shot is up, and that one is over the goalpost. And that time it was Faith, a little too much adrenaline flowing. Yeah, again, we talked earlier, Megan Castle once caught between a tale of two thoughts, whether, hey, do I strike it, do I cross it? Looked like Faith didn't quite have her mind made up before the ball got to her, and harmlessly a goal kick, but again, opportunity to press and win it back, which she has. Faith tries to dump the ball down to Cheyenne. Gauchos taken away, working it back to their back end and coming up the right side. Out to Ariana Chavez. Chavez, Faith Reyna takes it away, and Faith punches it right up to Allie Davis. And out of the net, Randazzo, who's been under a constant siege in this second half, had to come out and knock it away.
Yeah, again, good pressure there in midfield, kind of forcing the error, taking away some of the passing lanes. We've seen this now again with the kind of the sweeper stopper back four that's been deployed here in the second half by Scott Smith and company. They're fronting a lot of these forwards and not allowing that ball into their feet, and Glendale hasn't quite found a way around it just yet.
Also, I think as you pointed out, Bryce, a big defensive move was moving Jessica Barney to the left side compared to the first half when she was playing the right attacking back. And Allie Davis, once again, another great move, a good hustle play, gets it across. Aaliyah, and that one is knocked away as Cheyenne looked like she was going to get an opportunity in 3 quality efforts. Allie to Aaliyah right in the middle, and that one close to Cheyenne and just knocked away last second by the Gauchos. Yeah,
she had time and space there. The ball was played out in front of her rather than being played directly to her feet, and wasn't the right choice in pass, but a good look nonetheless. Again, Allie Davis just causing problems continuously. But again, when she's wearing the same color shirt as you, they're good problems to have to see.
Aaliyah Aguilar with a shot on goal that Kaylin Randazzo scooped it up, and the Gauchos are just trying to clear it out. They've been living in their back end for the longest of times, and right now, if you're Glendale and you're their Gauchos coaching staff, how do you try to flip the switch to get back on the offensive end?
Well, again, you see some of the substitutions coming in. I think that's your hope, right? Some fresh bodies, some fresh legs. As we, see even a swap there at right back, as a fresh set of legs in. Again, hopefully just trying to slow the attack down a little bit, and when they do win it, we've talked about it as something that we want the Lady Coyotes to have done, is when you do get it, value it, keep it, and again, take some of the sting out of the way by possessing the ball, right? If you have it, you can't score. If I'm Glendale, I'm trying to talk to my players and say, hey, value it, keep it. We win it, find feet. We win it, find feet again, relax a little bit, and kind of take some of that pressure off of you, and you're no longer on your heels, and you can get back onto the front foot.
Megan Castle with that boot that was knocked out, and now Glendale's trying to, and now and that's got to be a red card right there. And they give her a yellow card, but I mean, that's a body that's just literally thrown down, and Bryce, you've seen that in matches before. There's a fine line between the yellow and the red, and give us kind of your take. The center ref called it a yellow card, and your thoughts on. And that was a call against Casey Mears, who essentially threw down Aaron Holt. And there's a fine line between the yellow and red. Give us your take. Was that the right call?
Yeah, again, in a 2-0 game, it's kind of been building up some of that feistiness. That's kind of something that we'll call maybe an orange card, right? Where it could have gone maybe either way. Personally, I like trying to leave 22 players on the field unless you absolutely have to. I'm okay with a yellow there and maybe a bit more of a talking to, but ultimately at the end of the day, that player can't make another mistake in even a foul after the play or anything like that, because the second yellow then means you're down to 10. But coach here pleading his case, and in all fairness, not much of one in my opinion.
So the corner chance. Megan Castle trying to keep it alive. This one booted wide of the left post as Randazzo will scoop it up, and Glendale with 27 minutes and change. So yes, the Glendale coaching staff trying to get a answer of the physical play and the call on the yellow card as we play on, winding down to 27 minutes, and Jordan Matthews, pride of Sandra Day O'Connor, coming back in. And for me, what was really noticeable was the amount of, you talk about the formation changes and so forth, just the energy level for the Coyotes in that 10-minute stretch where they just simply owned it. They owned it offensively. The great passing by Allie Davis, but just the sheer will to step up their play and take control of this one in the must-win second half.
Yeah, you know, we talked about, you know, at the half, you know, the kind of the confidence of what you tell your team, whatever the message overall was from Coach Smith and company was obviously well received. There were, again, the Coyotes came out a little flat the first 5 minutes of the match. Let's, you know, not no need to sugarcoat it. It wasn't good, and I think maybe that could have been part of the message of, hey, we were flat as all get out to start the match. Come out in the second half firing and kind of take control of it and then see what happens. And ultimately, when you take control of a match and you assert yourself into it the way that you can, like with a player like Davis or Faith in the midfield, right? They've done a phenomenal job of, again, controlling the tempo, controlling the majority of possession, and when that happens, chances come. And it's just a matter of time before you end up sticking those away.
Emily Gresko about to check in, the pride of Perry High School. Gresko getting the call of duty from Scott Smith and the coaching staff, and Emily always with a big smile on her face, having a lot of fun in her year here. She said playing for Scott is great. It runs well, everyone gets along great, and that's part of a good atmosphere that Scott is building here. Now also checking in for Glendale is number 5, and that is Ethan Delgado, and Delgado was in that position in the first half, point blank with that good look, and she just missed as she turns around and looks at us like, yes, I know. I don't need to hear it from you guys. But Delgado with a good look and a good effort in that first half that almost put the Gauchos up going into the break.
Yeah, it was the best chance of the game to that point for sure. But again, I like what we've seen here. A little bit of potential foothold back in the game here coming from Glendale again. Coyotes, you win the ball, keep it.
And now it's, as we got some physicality, and that call is going to go against Aaron Holt. And it looks like that is Mears that is being held up. And as we check through the binoculars,
hey, we got to drop more.
Yeah,
that's actually Brisa Franco involved in that. So now, if the Gauchos are going to get back in this one, this is their chance from about, called 25 yards out.
Yeah, this is just inside a shooting range. Again, as an attacker, I'm trying to think of two things here. There's enough, it's far enough away to be able to get it up over the wall and back down. It's just a matter of having enough touch on it for it to come back down over the post, or under the post rather, versus staying above it. So let's see if she goes at goal or if it's more of a chipped crossing effort.
Franco, that's taken away by Cheyenne. Cheyenne Castillo in perfect position.
Yeah.
And Allie Davis giving chase on left side. And Allie just relentless on ball. Aaliyah Aguilar coming up and applying pressure as well.
Yeah, she tried to maybe get a little too cute with it, expecting the wall to jump. There was a bit of a jump from the wall, but not enough for the shot to sneak underneath it. You see that now with, you know, forwards that have the ability to put the ball up over the wall and bend it back down below the bar. Sometimes the wall will jump, trying to make themselves bigger, and if you can anticipate it and sneak it underneath. But the wall was not fooled by the trickeration.
And Cheyenne in a good place as we play on. Faith. And right now it's all about Chandler-Gilbert eating time, controlling the ball, and limiting the Gauchos in their offensive possessions. And Stephanie Sanchez, who was so good in that first half, the freshman forward out of Camelback High, she's been kept in check, and in this second frame hasn't had a lot of opportunities. The space has been limited. Mears involved in that yellow card situation. Good move across, and that one is knocked away by Aaron in that back end, and it's punched up. Cheyenne Castillo giving chase. Knocked down to Randazzo. And Coach Smith is telling his whole team, get up at the midfield stripe and put the pressure on. And now we've got a water break. So as we digest this second half, we got goals from Juanita Morales on a great feed from Allie Davis. Then it was Allie Davis to Faith Reyna. And Allie, who's had opportunities in that first frame, as we are not at the water break just yet, has really stepped up and been a facilitator, and her teammates have responded.
No, yeah, a well-deserved rest for her there, coming off to the sideline there. I don't anticipate that being that long of a rest with 21 left to play. I'd expect to see her back on at maybe the 12-minute mark or so, give or take a couple. Just depends maybe on how the next 5 minutes go.
Jordan Matthews in a battle against Jessica Varney, and as well as Aaron Holt, as Matthews and there is the water break, and it comes in about 20 minutes and 47 seconds. So now Chandler-Gilbert feeling good, and they've got under 21 minutes to kill and run that unbeaten streak to 4. And
Andy's got it.
a team that kind of, as you mentioned, sleptwalk through the first 5 minutes and started waking up and controlling it. Then it was the Gauchos in the second part of the first half that took control, and then it was after an early surge by Glendale as Chandler-Gilbert really controlling the tempo and putting pressure on, and a step faster, and it all starts with the midfielders getting the ball out to Allie, and Allie taking control.
No, absolutely. There was a good 10-minute stretch there where it was the Allie Davis show on 1v1 on the wing, and again, that's what you want from a winger. Get in behind, drive at the outside backs, get in behind and whip balls in and allow your strikers to get into the box and have the opportunities. And again, 2 phenomenal finishes, right? Both of which are pure goal scorers, goals inside of the foot, driving, one touch, right up against the post. Things you love to see from the forwards there. And again, Faith actually playing more of an attacking midfield role here in the second half. Again, getting into the box as a secondary runner and making it hard to mark defensively. So for me, again, 2-0 is great. You love it. You don't want to make any major mistakes in the back, but I would be cautious of how much you maybe want to defend right now versus keeping the ball and trying to still push forward and maybe drive for a third. Maybe, again, if you get it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. And you don't want to commit too many numbers forward to where you leave yourself, vulnerable in the back. But 21 minutes left is a lot of time to just maybe sit back and defend and just try to see the game out. I'd like to see the Lady Coyotes still be a bit more aggressive and still try to control the game for a while here.
It's all about controlling the ball, controlling time, and right now the scoreboard and time is in favor of the Coyotes as we wind down to 20 minutes left in this match. This game was supposed to be played a couple weeks back. It was suspended, or it was delayed, and here we are now with these 2 teams both battling for a playoff berth. Chandler-Gilbert ahead of Glendale in the standings, and a win here would help their conference playoff push as Varney dumps it down that left side. Faith Reyna, good attacking move by the Glendale defender, but Faith trying to turn that corner. Scott Smith up on his feet, watching his team.
I love the play by Cheyenne there. She picked her head up. She realized she was 1v3, not a lot of opportunity to go forward. Again, kept possession of the ball. Don't give it away. Turned and gave it to her outside back, and they were able to put something into it here.
Emily Greska giving chase. Megan Castle knocks out of bounds, winding down to 19 minutes. Chandler-Gilbert trying to get that surge one more time, maybe put this one on ice with one more goal as Glendale chasing the game. No opportunities for Glendale on goal in this second frame. Aaron Holt giving chase. This one knocked across, and Samantha picks it off as a forward was right in her mug. But Samantha came up and read it well and took it away.
Yeah, good sure hands there. If that's bobbled or put back down onto the grass, this is a 2-1 game. So well done there, well held, read the cross, saw it was coming, and was able to step up off her line and make the play.
And Bryce, for a freshman who steps in to this kind of competition, Samantha didn't think she was going to get the bulk of the looks. Tatum Lawley, many thought was going to be the starting goaltender, but because of ineligibility, she was sidelined for the rest of the year. So Samantha got pressed into duty. And what is it like to all of a sudden, start to feel the pressure and then all of a sudden feel comfortable with it and knowing you can play at this level?
No, absolutely. As a player, you never want to see a teammate go through, maybe an unfortunate situation. But ultimately, as a competitor, you know that it is, your job when you get it. And once you have the opportunity, you take it. And, again, to your point, as a freshman, a little maybe jitters your first couple games. But, once you get that first win under your belt and get a little bit more of that confidence, you start to play your way into the level that maybe you knew you had, or your coaches knew you had when they recruited you. So good for her to be in a good run of form lately, and again, hopefully it continues for the remainder of this season.
Aaron Holt punches it up. And the coaches plead with Cheyenne to let it go. Leah Aguilar to Faith, back to Aguilar. Coyotes controlling the ball. Paramount right now, under 17 minutes left. They've dominated the course of play. About to check in for the Gauchos is Sam Zazuita, sophomore midfielder from Kellis High School.
Yeah, you heard the Gauchos coach pleading a case there with some of the changes and interpretations that have been made to the offside rule in the last 5 years. To be fair to him, I don't know even sometimes what is or isn't offside. It's been changed so much, and you talk about player being involved in the play, or then the verbiage changes to influencing the play, then to being, quote, involved in the attack. So we don't know I don't think the people making the rules necessarily know how they want to word it, and led to a little bit of confusion there.
And that has to be frustrating for coaches and players, because all, safe to say, Bryce, all coaches and players, they just want the same interpretation so they can go about the game accordingly, so everyone knows how to attack on offense accordingly.
No, absolutely. And that's one of the things of the laws of the game in soccer that's different than so many other sports. And it's sometimes the beauty of the sport, sometimes the frustration, right? For maybe the more casual soccer fan, you think of, maybe a strike zone in baseball where, some umps have a bigger strike zone, some have a tighter one, right? Interpretation of the laws of the game of soccer really does vary by referee. Again, we see it when we talk about, more physicality or less physicality being allowed in a match from the center referee. But again, speaking for strikers and defenders all over the world, I think I can confidently say not too many people like the way that the offside rule itself has continued to be toyed with. Just make it very clear cut. That way I know what I can or can't do as a striker.
I think that's just a universal feeling, so everyone knows what to do and how to play the game accordingly. And that's same for coaches who can tactically teach their teams what they're trying to do. As Allie Davis is coming up the field, and Allie knocks it over to Gemma Larson. Gemma gets the ball taken away, and now Allie tries to go back on ball. Gemma giving chase. Coming up, Megan Castle was coming up that right side. Now some open space for the Gauchos. Shot over, and Samantha in a good situation. But that was one a few times in the second half, Bryce, where we saw some space for the Gauchos, and maybe what we're seeing in the latter half of the second half, some tired legs.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it stemmed from the turnover there in midfield. Again, you got bodies racing forward to get involved in the attack. Allie Davis hasn't done too much wrong here in the second half, but that pass was definitely behind her teammate there, and kind of led to the interception, kind of put her teammate in a little bit of harm's way with the pass, and led to a counterattack. But here she is trying to to get going there. I looked like maybe a handball, talking about rules and interpretations that have shifted over the last 5 years that frustrate the heck out of coaches. There's another one. But we've got either way, whether it's a free kick where it was or a corner kick opportunity here for the Coyotes. We talked about set pieces. Glendale had one early, a corner early in the second half when it was scoreless. Opportunity here to, like you said, put this game on ice.
Megan Castle coming out as Megan Holt checks in. About to check in for the Gauchos is Ariana Chavez from Australia Foothills in the West Valley.
Castle putting in a great shift here in the second half over on the right side. Her duties shifted a bit. Her instruction was different, and she did a phenomenal job so far in the first 30 minutes of this half.
And brought some physicality as well, chasing down balls and really battling and trying to control the tempo and ball possession for Chandler-Gilbert.
Absolutely. I like that ball there by Varney, too. She found a gap between two center backs and put it into a dangerous area, but forwards not on the same page. Didn't think she had it in her to play the ball first time. I love the effort there from her, and again, strikers got to stay hungry here.
And Bryce, you kind of talk about that. How important is it for your attacking back row to take those chances when they present themselves?
No, absolutely. Again, with the score line the way it is, with 12 minutes left, if you've got an outside back with the ball at their foot, if I'm an attacker, I'm telling them, hey, put it over the top, let me go chase it, right? Worst case scenario, if I lose it in the corner down here in the furthest point of the field from the goal. So again, look for the Coyotes every time that they win the ball out of the back, picking their head up and looking to find strikers.
Ashley Farr racing up after taking the ball away. Ashley. Faith right in that middle, try to punch it, try to find a seam for Emily Greska. Ball's knocked away, but once again, good possession, good sequence, because the Coyotes, what are they doing? They're controlling the clock.
Absolutely.
Under 12 minutes left.
Well, and you heard Coach Matt Smith there trying to instruct her, his player to get the ball over the top. Again, asking for Allie Davis, maybe not specifically just because it was her, but again, rather with 10 minutes left, if you can get the ball in over the top, we just talked about it, in behind into the corners. Again, if you overhit it and it's out for a goal kick, you can press and you can mark, as opposed to, hey, if the ball goes into the middle of the field and you lose it there, it's instantly a counterattack and now you're stuck defending. So it's one of those situations where, hey, maybe the pass in the middle is on, but what creates a better percentage to keep it furthest away from my goal while still hopefully retaining possession? It's a little bit of a different tactic.
Corinne Noose about to check back in. Corinne, one of the first players I met when I came out to one of the practices, and she asked me if I could properly say her name. So I gave it a shot, and Corinne was obviously easy. Butchered the last name the first time around. Second time, nailed it.
There you go.
Champ. She's like, good job.
All right, so let's hear it.
Corinne Noose.
There you go.
That's simple. Now it's memory bank. It's once it's locked in, it's like it's sort of like if you looked at Mike Krzyzewski's name for the first time, you're like, how am I going to say that? And then after a while, you don't look at it phonetically. You just remember right and just put Coach K, right? And now we got some physicality going, and we have another yellow card.
Little extracurriculars there, and some of the fans getting involved in providing their thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, and we please keep in mind that happened on the other side of the field, and we can only see so far, but it looked like, although you don't really want to speculate who was in it. But as Mackenzie Welsh was trying to check in, and right now I think Scott Smith is trying to prevent any kind of, any kind of game situations, maybe change the personnel up, because it looks like tempers are flaring, frustrations are coming out, and Scott's team is on the better half of this one, and he just wants to get out of this one with a victory and no kind of altercations whatsoever.
Oh, again, the last thing that you need right now is to have to play the remaining 10 minutes of this game down a player because someone retaliated. It's usually not the first one that gets caught, but the second one always does. So cooler heads hopefully going to be able to prevail.
Ashley Farr took it away for a split second. Gauchos and Cranus giving chase on Clarissa Zapita. That ball in the middle. This one shot, and this one is high and wide by Jordan Matthews. A good sequence. Gauchos put it in gear and work the ball, and right now they're pressing a Chandler-Gilbert team that defensively seems to be losing its legs as a change is in. Mackenzie Welsh stepping in, Leah Aguilar checking out.
Oh yeah, excellent hold-up play there from the Glendale striker. Cross came in early, so not something that you can redirect and get on goal. She was able to bring it down, control, find some feet, and again, great effort. Just again, the final product a little bit lacking.
Mackenzie Welsh checking in, had a really nice match in the victory over Paradise Valley. Came in, provided a lot of good minutes, had some shots on goal, and this one fired up. And that one's over the crossbar. So right now the Gauchos making a push with under 9 minutes, and now Megan Castle is always a force out of Higley High, who had a good game against Paradise Valley, scoring a goal and brings some physicality. And checking out Megan Holt and Megan Castle coming back in. So Scott rotating a defensive personnel for an offensive player to provide some offensive punch and trying to control some more possession time in the last 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, you know, in the tweaked formation that Smith and staff have come out in here with their team in the second half, Megan has played a little deeper, not typically as high as up the pitch as we see her, but she's been phenomenal in winning balls and distributing. Again, you see her back out there maybe just to mellow the tempo down a little bit and make sure that that again, when winning the ball, that they're able to get it forward a little bit more quickly and effectively. As again, she's been phenomenal for the majority of this match.
Gauchos cross, and that one is a good effort by Erin Holt, laying out the body and blocking it. Just all-out effort and sacrificing her body and knocking that one away.
Excellent sliding tackle there to block the shot. That's an art form as a defender to know when to slide and how to do it out in front of an attacker. That way you don't end up running through their plant foot leg, because if you do, it's an easiest penalty a referee will ever call. So great tackle there, great sliding effort to keep it scoreless here from the Gauchos.
Great effort by Erin. Now Scott Smith yelling in the corner, saying we've got to win this corner opportunity for Glendale. Not out of this one by any means. They've controlled the last 5 minutes. Header opportunity, and that one over the crossbar. A good look, banged, and just missing. And coming up the field after a great head knock was Clarissa Zapata. Clarissa off the good corner kick, point blank, and just missed right off the crossbar. And that's kind of been it for Glendale in the second half. The opportunities have been very limited, and they've not been able to capitalize, but they've been very good in the last 5 minutes controlling the pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And a miscommunication there defensively from the Coyotes from the set piece. The referee gave a foul in the same spot as the corner kick, and rather than treating it like a corner and dropping in and defending, they went ahead and put a wall of 2 players to try to block the cross, and that left the wrong amount of numbers in the box, and open red shirts were available, but just couldn't capitalize.
Allie Davis coming up, making some noise. Now it's Faith. Faith lets it fly. This one, and just grabbed by Randazzo.
Not a bad idea.
Great effort by Faith from that left side.
Absolutely. Put it, again, we said earlier, when you have the lead, when in doubt, up and out. She played that high into the box, hoping that a striker got on the end of it. No one there for it. But again, that's one of those situations where if you're going to end up losing the ball, I'd rather it be on a cross into a goalkeeper's hands rather than trying to play too cute through the middle of the field.
And Bryce, in that situation, it looked like she took her time, was poised up, and took a nice rocket shot instead of rushing the shot and having it go sideways on her, but very under controlled in that execution.
Absolutely.
5:25 left. And Allie splitting a defender, giving chase. Randazzo, and Allie Davis beats Randazzo. Allie in a battle gets Randazzo. And now Scott Smith looking at the referee, looking for a call. And there's a whistle blown.
Free kick awarded.
And another great hustle play by Allie Davis, outworking the defender, Sam Zazueta, and then outworking Randazzo. So Faith Reyna, free kick opportunity from the left side.
I'll tell you what, Joe, speed kills. you have it, and you can't teach it. And again, Allie Davis, the wheels, as we've heard her called by her teammates here and there throughout the season, continuing to cause problems for the Gaucho back four.
Reyna, 4:24 and counting, has already scored in this one off the great assist from Allie Davis. Will she take the shot, or is she going to dish off and center it off in the middle? Faith.
I'd like to see her whip one across here.
And Randazzo on another good kick by Faith Reyna, and Faith has really stepped up, showing her ball striking abilities in the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal ball across. Again, that's a striker's dream. All you have to do is get a touch on that ball and it's in the net. Would have loved to see someone in white there on the end of it, but another half chance goes begging.
So Chandler-Gilbert, 3:40 and counting. Cadence Turner battling. Now it's Gemma Larson giving chase. Cadence Turner on that back end. Ball scooting down that corner. Megan Castle been all over the field. Megan's played an excellent match. Bringing the body and the physicality. Has left very little space for the defenders. And Samantha with another save. Samantha's been tested in the last 5-10 minutes, but she's had good looks. Nothing too on the degree of difficulty too hard, but look, good players have got to make the simple ones, and she's made every simple one.
Absolutely. Good positioning. Again, finding herself in the middle of the goal, cutting off a good angle, and the strike right to her. Again, swallowed it up and get it away here.
2:50 and counting, and you love to see this for Scott Smith's team. Like last year, they ended the season so strong. They gave eventual national champion Phoenix College all they could take and then some, losing in the playoff game in the semifinals of the Region 1, 1-0. And now as they're surging toward a playoff berth, they are once again with a brand new team, only a few returning starters. They are picking up their play yet again as Faith Reyna is in a matchup with Jordan Matthews, and Faith wins that battle. And Glendale now in crunch mode. They are in crisis chaos mode, and they need 2 goals quickly in the last 2 and change, and that right there just works in the Coyotes' favor. A punch down the field, eating up more clock, right down to Randazzo, who's going to have to reset her team with under 2 minutes left. And Gemma Larson right there. Larson putting a body on a body. Gemma giving chase. Mackenzie Welsh also in pursuit. Aaron Holt coming up, manning up her offensive player. And Faith right there dumps it down to Aaron. And the Coyotes controlling with $1:30 left. Allie Davis giving chase. Gemma Larson coming up. Mackenzie Welsh. And Faith on that sidelines, knocked away, and Chandler-Gilbert. Faith Reyna, the feisty freshman from Castile, throws it in to Mackenzie Welsh. And this Coyotes team that went through a hardship of 3 tough losses where they couldn't score, all of a sudden found their footing against Yavapai. Follow that up with a victory over Gateway, a 3-0 win. Follow that up with a 6-0 win over Paradise Valley. Taking on a Glendale team that had won 2 of its last 3. A tough loss to Phoenix College, ranked in the top 5 and tied at the half at 0. And this Chandler-Gilbert team explodes for 2 second-half goals, closing in. And we got a red card.
Yeah.
And coming out is number 10, Brisa Franco. And
Descent looks like what the the official was saying there, kind of the moving the hand like the mouth, like talking, and usually that means, you know, player said something that he wasn't fond of, and the card is a result of, again, be more constructive with your feedback.
So you see Brisa Franco walking off, getting consoled by her coach, and you know, that's probably not a situation she wanted, but sometimes in the heat of battle things happen. Sometimes emotions, unfortunately, can't be controlled, and she draws the red card. We play on for Chandler-Gilbert, only worrying about what they have to do in the final 12 seconds. And the countdown has begun for Chandler-Gilbert. And that is it. Chandler-Gilbert, the unbeaten streak, goes to 4 with a 2-0 shutout over Glendale. The Coyotes improved to 4-5-1 in conference, 4-6-1 overall. And when we reflect on this one, you can talk about MVPs across the board. Offensively, the goal scorers always get the love, but it has to start with Allie Davis, who was phenomenal in a 15-minute stretch where she was a facilitator, and everything she was doing was coming up roses.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the mindset, the mentality, maybe a little bit passive from her in the first half. It was something you and I talked about, but in the second half, came out in go mode and really was able to engage and get after the back four, and was able to successfully create some opportunities for her teammates. Again, we mentioned maybe look to pass early on, maybe more than we'd like, but the driving and the effort to beat players 1v1 off the dribble is what ultimately created the space when she did look to pass, and 2 good passes they were, and 2 phenomenal finishes from her teammates. So all around great team performance.
And can't say enough about the efforts from Juanita Morales as well as Faith Reyna, and give the goal scorers their due. They were in perfect position. They were ready. I mean, how many times, Bryce, in the course of a match, you see someone with a great cross, and all of a sudden,
we're getting
and now we have a yellow card against the head coach of Glendale for some post-game chatter.
again.
And you hate to see that, because at this point the match is over. Just play on, and you know, look, no one likes to win, or I should say no one likes to lose, but of course there's always about sportsmanship and play on. It's just a game, and as a coach of the team, you got to be able to keep your emotions in check.
Absolutely. And again, the be more constructive with your feedback.
Yeah.
from the referee tonight. Again, not taking a lot of extra constructive criticism from either bench. I mean, Coach Scott Smith maybe made some suggestions early on in the second half, and was given the opportunity to be silent for a bit too. So ultimately, again, the main points of this match, again, you mentioned, you know, Allie Davis, her creativity there in the second half on the wing. We talked about Megan Castle moving a little further back in the second half, maybe not playing as offensive as we're used to seeing her, but she had a job to do, and she did it. That's something that's not going to show up on the score sheet, right? No goals, no assists, but a lot of really, really good intelligent play, winning balls from her in midfield, and getting things forward, and ultimately shutting down the Gaucho attack on that half of the field for the 35 plus minutes she was on that side.
Sacrificing for the team. And look, Samantha Haug, between the pipes, she didn't see anything that was so pressing. She saw the one shot in the first half by Edith Delgado that was point blank, that just a misfortune for Glendale coming up short, but give Samantha credit. Everything she stopped in the second half, good goaltenders take care of, and she took care of the business at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you mentioned a lot of the shots late in the game there, a bit more of your routine catching practice, as you say, right? But the point blank save there with just a minute or so left at the end of the first half, I mean, that's a turning point in the match. If that finds the net and it's 1-0 going into half, obviously it's a completely different ball game. So well done from her. And again, we talked about the change at half in the back as well, right? Some tactical adjustments and excellent stuff.
Yeah, announcements will be 3 minutes.
as the Glendale coaching staff comes over and gets tried a little bit of a breakdown of how the announcements will start before the men's game. So now Chandler-Gilbert, the women's squad, they're like George and Wheezy, like the Jeffersons. They're just moving on up with the 4-5-1 conference play standings record. And now they go to Mesa on Saturday before wrapping up. And they take on a Mesa team next week, or this Saturday, I should say, 2-7, 3-9. And Bryce, you've been there. How important is it to, you can't look at the record, but you know your talent is better than the other teams to come out and take care of business and get that W and secure it and ride that unbeaten streak to 5 after Saturday.
No, absolutely. And when it's Mesa and Chandler-Gilbert, it doesn't matter if one team's 10-0 and the other's 0-10. Those are two teams that flat out don't like each other. It's a rivalry. A lot of the players have been playing against each other for years and years at the club level. They know each other. There's no secrets between teams. You know exactly what the other team is trying to do. So to your point, right, you can't really look at the record in a match like that. It's all about, hey, get out there, do what we know we can do, and control our own destiny and put our stamp on a match early and often and control the play.
And Bryce, before I let you go, once again, an A for effort, analyzing the women's game. Give us kind of a matchup breakdown of the nightcap as the men and the Gauchos get ready to tip off here, or kick off, I should say, at 7:30. And once again, Chandler-Gilbert coming off their best offensive showing of at home this season. They look crisp. The offensive attack was good. Kalili Kalua came up in the back end and served as kind of the attacking back row center fielder at the midfield stripe and was fantastic. A great offensive effort. Faith Reyna, don't go anywhere. We want to talk to you, okay? We just had to make sure Faith didn't go anywhere. I know she's got autographs to sign. So needs to say.
Decent effort, decent effort.
Decent effort, kiddo. Yeah. So give us kind of a breakdown of, and the Gauchos, they're coming off three straight victories, including a victory 3-0 over that well-oiled Phoenix College team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, again, the first matchup between the two teams in the opening game of the season, the story was the tactics of the Glendale Gauchos playing the 3-5-2, and their back three looking to play the ball long, early, often, over and over and over. And you saw, 8 starters that were freshmen for our Coyotes in that one that just quite frankly weren't able to handle it. So again, you talk about two teams that know each other well. There's no secrets as to what each unit is going to try to do to put their stamp on the game and control it the way they'd like it to be played. So for me, it's going to be what kind of game comes out of it. Is it going to be a long ball back and forth, or is it going to be a little bit more of press, possess, and keep control of the game from the Coyotes, and whichever team kind of influences the game with their style of play more than the other is likely to be the one that comes out on top.
And that's coming up shortly right here on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network as Zach Kemp brings up his starting lineup. And Zach obviously wants to see his team continue to bring the great efforts and build on the win over Paradise Valley. So keep it locked and loaded. I have Faith Reyna right to my left. Bryce, great job as always. And keep it right here. More from Chandler-Gilbert. And we welcome you back to Chandler-Gilbert. I'm with the unstoppable force. That is Faith Reyna, freshman out of Castile High School. And, that first half looked like it could go either way. And then that second half, there was a 10-minute stretch. You guys put it on. Allie Davis feeds you for the second goal, I believe. Talk about how you guys came out in that second frame and really took control.
Well, last 2 weeks we've been talking about how we need to be more as a team. And Scott came out with a new formation, actually, that we haven't really played much. and I think we just knew that we needed to want it. And Allie was servicing all first half too, so I think she just knew what she had to do, and we knew what we had to do, and it was just push up on her and help her finish it, which is exactly what me and Juanita both did. So
Yeah, Juanita scored that first goal. Of course, we'll try to talk to Juanita as well. So now this team, Faith, has now ran its unbeaten streak to 4. And this is a team that's persevered through injuries and all kinds of difficult situations. And now you're playing great soccer at just the right time. How great does it feel to weather the storm and now as you surge toward the remainder of the season to be in a good place?
feels good. I think we've worked really hard for it, and I think a lot of us have personally persevered through a lot of stuff too, and we had a really personal team talk with each other and talked about what we wanted and how we need to be more together and family-like, and I think it's just really shown in the last few games. Since that talk, I think we've been a family and we've worked towards each other.
I think a turning point in this one, I think you had a point-blank look and you knocked it over to the other side of the universe. Matt Smith, and you got frustrated, right?
Yes.
You were all mad.
Shanked
and assistant coach Matt Smith said, look, it's okay, just keep playing hard, keep playing hard.
Yeah.
You locked in, and then the next time around, on a good feed from Allie, you knocked it home. You showed some poise. Talk about the difference between the kick previously and that point-blank look.
I've known Matt and Scott for a really long time, and they know how I play. They know I get in my head, and I shank that so hard, and then I think it's just their confidence in me helps a lot, and I talked to Cheyenne and Jem out there, and they kept keeping me uplifted, kept telling me I knew what I needed to do, and just like I said, we went out there knowing that we needed to want it, and I just needed to keep wanting it.
Yeah.
So I did.
There you go, and you got it done. So now look, 4-match unbeaten streak. You go to Mesa, they are struggling, but as Bryce Johnson just alluded to me, look, when these two teams get together, there's a notorious dislike for one another. So how do you go about in there, and don't look at the records, just take care of the task at hand?
Honestly, all I can keep saying is we go back to being a family and needing to want it. It's just been repeating in our heads that if we want this, we need to earn it, we need to work for it, and we all need to take care of ourselves and do what we need to do. And I think we all just need to go into that game ready to play. There
you go, Faith Reyna bringing her A game. She missed the first time, didn't miss the second time. She kept it locked, kept it cooled, and scored the second goal of the game as the Coyotes knock off the visiting Glendale Gauchos by the count of 2-0 to run their unbeaten streak to 4 as Scott Smith is having some fun right behind my shoulder. As you can see, Scott's right there in the corner of the live stream. He's having all kinds of fun. So, Faith, I need you to do me a favor right now. You're going to be kind of my facilitator right now. You're my point guard in this.
All right.
Can you get me Juanita Morales? Can you get me Allie Davis? Is it
I will
possible?
do my absolute best.
Okay, that is Faith Reyna. And by the way, before I let you go, Halloween is right around the corner. Do you celebrate Halloween? Because I'm a big Halloween guy.
Absolutely. My favorite holiday.
Beautiful. and what are you dressing up as Halloween this year?
I don't know. Might go as Lightning McQueen or Mater.
Lightning or Darth Vader?
Mater.
Mater. Okay, very nice. And what is your favorite thing about Halloween before I let you go?
Candy.
Candy.
Dressing up too. It's just such a fun thing. I love scary stuff.
Love scary stuff. Love the candy, whether it be hard or the chocolate. Who doesn't like a little bit of a sweet tooth? That is Faith Reyna. Scored a goal, put the Coyotes ahead for good, 2-0 victory, and now she's going to be my facilitator and getting Juanita Morales and Allie Davis. Keep it locked, keep it loaded right here on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network. And we welcome you back to Chandler-Gilbert, joined by Aaliyah Aguilar. And Aaliyah, what can you say? This team has now run its unbeaten streak to 4. How satisfying was this victory?
It feels very satisfying. It's like we started off rough, and then a team full of freshmen. It was like a little rough at first, and then we're starting to figure it out, and we're really starting to play as a family and have each other's back. So it feels so good.
Yeah, you kind of talk about that. It looked like in the opening minutes of this one, the team was a little flat-footed. It looked like we had some tired legs at times.
Yeah.
A little too much space was given defensively. But then all of a sudden, that 10, 15-minute stretch in the second half where the team absolutely owned it and controlled possession. What happened in that second frame that you guys came out and ultimately took a 2-0 lead?
I think we finally just calmed down. I think sometimes we'll just go into our heads too much, and we'll think about plays, and soccer's a simple game. So I think we were finally able to calm down and just connect the ball and pick up our heads and just play the simple game.
And you kind of talk about all the freshmen. Look, the only returning starters on this team, Taylor Brown, and Taylor is out with a lower body injury. Aaron Holt, the center back. So you basically have 2 returning starters, and the rest of the team is essentially brand new. What's it like for this team? A slew of freshmen learning on the fly.
It's been hard. It's been hard, but it's been fun because we get to learn about each other. We get to play, find different ways. We'll connect to Juanita's game style, or I'll connect to Allie's game style. So it's been fun. It's been interesting, kind of adjusting to it.
Yeah, adjusting to it. And along the way, you guys have had to persevere through a slew of injuries. And to go through as much as you have, the rotating bodies, and at times wondering if you're going to have enough bodies to field a team on a given match, to be in this position to ride a 4-match unbeaten streak and take that into Mesa and eventually have Coach Cheese at home with an opportunity to seal a playoff berth.
Yeah, we've been actually having each other's back, connecting as a family and just realizing that we all play this game for a reason, and we just gotta pull through at the end of the day.
For you personally, as a freshman on this team, how much fun are you having, and how great has it been to be part of Scott Smith's team?
It's been fun. It's been a good learning moment because I came to Scott, building my craft and learning new ways, and just building as a player and an individual. So it's been fun.
Yeah. Before I let you go, obviously, 2 things. First up, Mesa on Saturday, and there's a lot of bad blood between these 2 teams. It doesn't matter records; they're on a little bit of the struggling side. But how do you just not look at the record and make sure you go and take care of business?
I think we just come in with the correct mindset, and we want this at the end of the day. So we put in the work, and we played how we've been playing at the end of the day. And we can't look at records. You got to play the game.
You got to play the game. And before I let you go, it is closing in on Halloween, which I think is one of the greatest holidays in the course of mankind. And that being said, do you celebrate Halloween? And if you do, what character are you going as this Halloween?
I do indeed celebrate Halloween, and I'm not too sure. I might see what my little nephews are going to be and kind of incorporate myself with that, but I'm not too sure yet.
Do you take them trick-or-treating?
Yeah, I love
so
taking my
cool.
nephews out and just having a good time with them.
Yeah. They're like, Auntie Aaliyah's going to take us, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Auntie Aaliyah providing valuable minutes for the Chandler-Gilbert team as they pick up the victory over the visiting Gauchos to run their unbeaten streak to 4. Next Saturday, they're at Mesa, followed by next Tuesday right here against Coach Cheese. Keep it locked, keep it loaded.
Thank you.
Aaliyah, thank you for your
appreciate
time.
it.
Coming up next, the boys match right here on the Chandler-Gilbert Sports Network.
Thank you.